going into game number 4 that we'll see differently. I think still no Cassia. I feel like other than that, I have no idea.
No Tomorrow has one time given up first pick when losing a game to pick a Battleground, but that was Battlefield of Eternity and versus Supercharged. In this case, Battlefield of Eternity isn't even an option. Team Freedom did such a great job banning that versus No Tomorrow. So still picking first pick, Freedom has chosen Sky Temple to make their battle and their case for staying in the playoffs.
Sky Temple. Interesting. It's going to be very team fight focused. Right now, when it comes to drafting, Team Freedom is just flat out drafting. I feel like No Tomorrow in a lot of the ways, so and that impacts team fighting a lot. So I feel like that's the only thing that makes me lean a little bit here towards Freedom, but that's more of like they're just, at least stats-wise and play-wise so far here today, showing to be the better team.
Versus Team 8, Team Freedom got their Abathur Zeratul and then Lunara, Arthas, and Karzim. They did lose versus Team 8, but Illidan was able... Sorry, the double Arthas was able to do a lot in that particular game versus Team 8. Does that make No Tomorrow have to ban Abathur again? They have every single Battleground where it was a possibility for Freedom to draft it.
I don't think so. We've talked a bit about Abathur on Sky
Temple.
Yeah, it's like only in a mule tactic. It's just a lot of what he does. He's not bad, but I wouldn't put it as a good map for him. No Tomorrow is just going to ban Greymane.
Wow. So they don't feel like they can first pick it. And they don't get to first pick Murden either.
Is it the Mouth? It is. No Tomorrow. Tiger JK there is going to be on the Malfurion. What about Freedom? Where do they want to move with the one warrior picked up? Do they go for another or commit a bit more to the globals? For Freedom, it was Balazario Malfurion.
Versus Team 8?
Yeah.
You're right. I was looking at their Towers game. That's why I said Illidan. Because I was like, I really thought they played Illidan on Sky. So
well, they
still
did.
A possibility.
They did, yeah.
Well, Zarya, Zala combo. It's a possibility. It's still up.
I like it. You know, I don't think we've landed maybe on our mark, but I think we're near it, and that's really all that kind of matters. Zeratul and Falstad for Freedom. The Zeratul on Sky, awesome. Falstad global on Sky Temple's neat, but not needed. So, you know, it's nice to pick those two up together. We always talk about the matchup and how easy Zeratul can just kill the Falstad, heroic barrel roll, every part about it doesn't matter. He is a dead Areno. So what does No Tomorrow do here in the rest of this draft? You want to avoid squishies, maybe a global to match. Dahaka doesn't stand out as a 10 out of 10 pick, though, on Sky Temple.
In previous games, No Tomorrow has liked a lot of the same things that Team Freedom has on Sky Temple.
Yeah.
So same thing, Malfurion, Zarya, Vala, Lunara later on. Warrior has to be the pickup. We know that has to be a pickup now for No Tomorrow because constantly now we've seen this Murden ban and then a follow-up immediate pick. So it's just whatever that No Tomorrow wants to play. Is it Arthas this time? Do they feel like a Nubarak could work for them? Or Johanna for No Tomorrow?
No way.
It's about damn time.
Say, okay. That is weird. I was very much on the same page with you. I thought that was inevitably going to be one of those three. So the fact that we see a weird pressure to match globals coming out from them, but then not committing to a secondary warrior, 1-4 Urho. Wow. Okay, we'll find out. I mean, No Tomorrow's got to bring everything out here. This is their legitimate Crucible life on the line in this game.
I'm surprised Freedom isn't willing to take this further.
I was thinking the same thing. If you've already started a problem and it's working out, why wouldn't you just, like, you know, you've opened the wound, now you might as well dump the salt on it. Either that or I was going to make it more graphic.
I did not know where you were going with that, and I was terrified.
I just had like this movie scene, you know, when he stabs the dude and then he's like twisting it as he stares in his eye. That is what Freedom should be doing right now. To No Tomorrow.
Twisting the knife and staring at them.
At their soul. Be like, pick it. I dare you. Varian was the ban out of No Tomorrow? No way. They're going to Task Tracer. No. Yes, they are. Why would you ban Varian there? The Tychus? I guess the Tychus. The Tychus. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
just thinking.
Tychus has a rough time.
Just when I see Zeratul on one side and then the opposite team ban the variant, I'm like, okay, so you are saying you want more chase than the other. So it's like no, or removal of chase. And I was like, who can outdo Zeratul in that mobility? Only 2, and that would be Genji and Tracer. Genji's not available.
Not yet. Anubarak Uther. Uther is available. We've been seeing a lot of him. So Team Freedom now showing that if they're not allowed to have their Malfurion, they will get Uther to try to counter. Here's where it is. What does Erho pick?
What if they just put him on Dahaka? Like, it doesn't make me feel good on the inside, but what if they do? They could.
He's never played him before, but they could.
I mean,
Never played him before in HGC.
never played him before in
throw that out there.
HGC has led to them also being 1 game away from being put in the Crucible. So, if you feel like you've exhausted all your options, I actually really don't want to see that. I would prefer them go to like an Arthas still, something where we know we've seen them, even like a Tyrael if that's what's needed. Whatever they feel Erho is the most comfortable on. Screw the impact of the game, ignore the meta, focus on you. When everything matters, what is it? And then that's the hero they should pick for Erho. I feel like in this situation. If it's Tyrael, then go for it. Fine. Solid for their comp. And there's the Cassia. That's the one thing that blows my mind.
Me too.
When everything matters for No Tomorrow,
They're willing to bank
Cassia, the new
on
hero.
the new hero.
There's a lot of melees that exist on the other side. That's a positive. They have Zeratul and Nubarak Isolation blow-up comp, though.
So now Team Freedom, what do they get to make sure that this doesn't have
Something
success?
that isn't banking on... Okay, something that can just kind of survive-ish and that isn't totally useless when blinded. Which, conveniently enough, Nazeebo has scaling HP, one of the tankiest range assassins in the game, and he doesn't really care if he got blinded. That was about perfect pick.
And we know that Team Freedom is beyond comfortable with their Nazeebo play.
Yeah.
This is it.
I'm going to be honest, Gilly. No Tomorrow is looking like they're about to fulfill their name here with No Tomorrow after this draft. It's going to be tough for them. You know, everything is against them when it comes to the standings and everything of the like, but Freedom here for what feels like another game has an absurdly dominant, synergistic, what we talk about, the high impact R buttons out of last game, and I feel like it's going to be this one too.
Team Freedom has been so impressive with their drafting.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of teams have said that their drafting is the best thing about Team Freedom and what they're able to do, where their priorities fall, how much emphasis they place on the correct roles. And that has gotten them a lead in the series so far. Can it close it out here for them? That is the big question we are waiting to find out. No Tomorrow has to win this game. They have to win both games.
Or they will join Aventic. I can't imagine what that feels like, to be honest. How much, I guess maybe I can in terms of pressure, but not like legitimately like, man, everything that we've been a part of, the league and everything else could be just thrown out purely based on the results of one Sky Temple game. It's No Tomorrow here is they've got to put it together, and they have made changes in this draft. The Cassia is a bit of a flex, but it's more the Tyrael. The Tyrael is the biggest weird part of No Tomorrow's draft. High impact. I mean, I always have high praise about Tyrael. There's literally not a single comp where I don't think Tyrael works in. So,
but difficult.
Yeah, he is hard to run, but there is intimidating CC on the other side, not to where the Tyrael will be pressured. There will be a lot of damage coming out. So it's just going to be Erho has to perform, or whoever they put on the Tyrael really needs to make sure they perform, because that's the change. That's the variable they put in when everything's on the line, and now I want to see it come to light.
No Tomorrow has been slowly trying to climb out of the gargantuan hole that they put themselves in part one. They had so much potential, but the team never were able to fully synergize as a unit. And a lot of that came down to issues between teammates too. How do you feel like the pressure is on them right now? And do you think that they can overcome that as a unit together based on the talks that we've been able to have with Erho and with the rest of the team throughout this part two?
I mean, everything in my heart wants to say yeah, like for real. But again, I'm a huge dude on patterns and consistency of history and what we see in the past of players and everything the like, and what does that mean going forward? And when you look at it like that, the answer is no. But it's also unprecedented to see this group of players with that exact same mentality to even have a blimp of overcoming it for even a moment. So maybe that's not giving them enough credit, that was the sign needed for this group of players to really be like, you know, get a taste of what it means to have a better relationship, be closer as a unit, and be able to, you know, try and embody that or not. I don't know. My first thought is no to that question.
Well, sorry, Heroes fam. We're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for this game number 4. We're having technical difficulties. We'll be back just as soon as we can with what may be the conclusion of the series.
I once ruled Ashul Nerub. Then came a war I could not win. I was forced into servitude. But here, in this strange place, no one commands my power. I will conquer the Nexus. Those who oppose me shall embrace the web of death. I am a Nubarak. I ruled once before. I shall rule again.
It's not easy being queen. So many subjects to keep in line. So many scores to settle. I am the Swarm. And vengeance has never looked this good.
This is an execution. Team Liquid is getting executed on Sky Temple right now. This 5th game, Team Dignitas is going to claim victory against Team Liquid. This should be the end. Fnatic goes in for the core. Fnatic wants revenge. Arthas is down. Fnatic commits. They go for the core. 5-4-1. It's over. Fnatic takes Team Liquid down.
Gale Force Esports coming on strong.
Gale Force says, what's up? Let's go.
Tempo Storm are lethal with these abilities. These combos from Som have been unreal. Welcome back. We are ready for Game 4 between Team Freedom and No Tomorrow. Let's head into Sky Temple with no delay to see if No Tomorrow can tie it up and go to Game 5.
And maybe more importantly than that, keep themselves out of kind of the crucible, at least maybe for a moment. Have an opportunity to not fall down into that. But either way, it is going to be a doozy here on Sky Temple. Game number 4. I'm ready for it. The Uther Nazebo, level 1s. Nobody's got any.
Yes.
Oh, wait, Cassia. What is this?
Thunderstroke. So you have to hit heroes with lightning fury. Yeah, it is the name. It is. There was already a Thunderstruck, so I was wondering if maybe they didn't want to have 2 of those, but Thunderstroke is it's a different word to say, that's for sure. Anyway, you have to hit heroes with lightning fury.
I'm very optimistic that No Tomorrow will in fact be able to produce, you know, a very, very serious game here with this Thunderstroke.
Give a Thunderstroke to Team Freedom. You have to hit heroes with it. The first after getting 20, I believe, yes, you can increase the damage, and then after 40, you decrease the mana cost and get a second charge of it.
Q build.
Completely different build. That is so funny because somebody was tweeting me about this build earlier.
I think when looking at the level 1s, I don't know, man. I honestly haven't gotten enough variation of compositions of play on Cassia to truly give my perspective on these level 1s. I played a lot of this one originally. Thunderstroke was my first starting out, and I always felt like Q build's kind of cool, but I feel like I'm a bad mage. I'm like not better than your average mage, other than I have a decent AoE. And every other part about it was like, man, the other level 1 in the right situations, I feel so impactful that it has to be the go-to.
Other possible talents, maybe we'll see paired with this include Pierce at 16, so that you can have the primary missile of Lightning Fury pierce through. It'll still split when it hits heroes, though. Not sure what else maybe they're going to try to combo off with this, though. We saw Grounding Bolt before with the Cassia at level 13. You could also get Thunder God's Vigor, which would reduce the cooldown so that you have a lot more poke, maybe. Maybe it's just the poke Cassia build.
Poke Cassia. Either way, into not as many melees on the side of Freedom, even though I guess they do have 3, but generally Uther and Zeratul being stealth, I don't really count. Zeratul wouldn't be hit by the AoE with the other level 1, so I think I like it a lot more.
It is a different Cassia player, Talking Trees versus Jason.
So Urho moves his way up top. That was not a direction you wanted to throw that Q. Nasmus realizes that. He actually missed the slow, though, out of his Q.
And Singularity Spike hit the wall instead. So Urho survives, but purely thanks to Team Freedom not getting that kill.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to get it. All right, and in comms, Urho goes, well, I mean, did you die? And it's like, no, but, you know, it was more of them not killing me than it was me surviving.
It wasn't pretty, at least. With all the damage Team Freedom did to the top, they'll be able to claim the top port easily, giving them a big advantage in the next phase of Sky Temple. They can focus their efforts down in the bottom lane, try to siege up along with their giants, and maybe even just put bruisers up here while No Tomorrow tries to respond to that. But No Tomorrow does have Dahaka to deal with top lane and got their giants first.
All right, so at 4 for Uther, a small change going with the Holy Fire.
Holy Fire!
Mixing it up, doing AoE 20 damage, kind of like a Burning Rage, that AoE damage around him at all times, but his basic auto attacks against enemy heroes will increase that damage by 20% for 3 seconds.
And it can stack up to 3 times.
That's pretty crazy. The single target damage when locked in place, especially like with the zombie wall, so very effective there. We'll see how Collusion makes that talent work here. In the past, the original Uther, before the rework here in 2.0, the only time you saw that talent was purely Zagara creep. Just be like, I can rid of this without forcing a Frisbee.
It used to be at 7, too, right?
Yeah.
Level 7 here for No Tomorrow. Still had Ring of the Leech for the Cassia build, and still Surge of Light. So the only difference in the build so far is Thunderstroke. And on that note, Thunderstroke has 10 stacks, so halfway to the first spike, the first boost from that.
Well's going to be removed, but the zombie wall is going to keep Jason in a hard place. Good cleanse coming out from Tiger JK, and he somehow survived miraculously.
But went back in to throw a grenade, and Zagrog spots that in an instant.
They survive. No Tomorrow. Okay, now they've survived. They make it out. They're fine. The next next shrine is going to be on bottom. They have removed Team Freedom's actual well, so that is going to give them the upper hand. But can they, win these shots? This is normally on Sky Temple, where we see a team gaining a lot of momentum, and when they start to pull ahead and fall behind, will No Tomorrow be able to do that? And again, at least survive another day out of Crucible range.
They need to, because they focused a lot of effort in this bottom lane. They lost the top 4, so they need to make sure they're keeping up structurally. So getting those first shots that are crucial to getting the first fort, it hasn't gone down yet, but once No Tomorrow regroups, gets back into the fight, then they could look to take the rest of the shots needed. They're keeping Dahaka and Tychus. All right, now Airho's stepping back down onto the temple.
Gonna get a bit of damage out there. Maybe fight over the experience of the big boy on that shrine. Casanova comes in, gets the burrow onto Collusion, but he is going to be just fine. Jason taking a bit of damage from the Zeratul there. A skirmish, but nobody gonna lose their life over it. Falstad still up in mid. Urho backing out to get the rest of these shots, but with the experience in favor of Freedom, I would tread lightly here, No Tomorrow. Keep in mind, this could be the last game of the series, knocking No Tomorrow away, and Freedom pulling ahead with a 3/4 level lead thanks to Falset. So
this was a risk, but a risk that paid off. No Tomorrow got the fort now. They even get the rest of the temple before going back. It took just too long for Team Freedom to get heroic abilities. So No Tomorrow will structurally tie up the game. They now need to get their heroic abilities because they're almost picked up for Team Freedom. It's taking a little bit. There they are.
it looks like Freedom's grouping up to try and take advantage of their 10. How much can they give? This turret is a give me.
Divine Storm! Oh, Gust Divine Storm Dream? It's the new Gust Twilight Dream.
I don't think that's how that works. Twilight Dream is not only a bigger area, it CCs. We talked about this.
But at 20, you've got the Hurricane.
You could go for the Hurricane, you know?
Ball
My
Lightning
goodness.
over Valkyrie. I'm happy with that choice. What do you think?
We'll say pessimistic about it a little bit here. You know, I'm more on the negative side, I think, than the D shield. Just based on the fact that I get the argument of like, wow, there's 3 melees in Twilight Dream to be effective has to be in short range. But for you, even if those 3 melees are grouped, the only time that they would be that grouped and ever, period, would be synced. Other than that, most of the time, it's unlikely for you to get a really big one, do enough damage, and there's not enough wombo combo. Not a single heroic on the side of Freedom does damage outside of Nazeebo.
Are you talking about Divine Storm?
Yeah.
I was talking about Ball Lightning. So that's where the confusion is. Yeah,
Hello?
maybe he can follow it up with follow-up Void Prison. I'm sure that's the idea of the combo,
Did
right?
you just ask me about Divine
I
Storm?
said Ball Lightning over Valkyrie. What do you think of that one?
I thought you said Divine Storm. You just put up a whole
Sometimes I
hit.
feel like you don't even listen to me.
I was listening.
I'm just kidding.
The Ball of Lightning, I enjoy more than Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Valkyrie, at first, I was just like, Ball of Lightning seems like you can just break the distance, get away, but Valkyrie's just so hard to hit.
Oh, Arrow's not hard to hit. All of Team Freedom are collapsing on him, and he's stuck. He has to use Sanctification to bust out of the zombie wall. And that's not good for the start of the temple phase.
And worst case about it, the exact counter argument, wow, getting that pick and dropping the B-step.
That was a Divine Storm pick.
I was going to say, without Sanctification, Divine Storm suddenly now becomes a option, right? That was what I was looking at with my whatever analysis that was now at this point in time. Shots are going to be captured. Up on top, nothing here for No Tomorrow. They're scrambling to get some of the shots up on bottom. But with Freedom pushing this front wall up on top for free as well, things are looking good for them to be able to secure this series and lock in No Tomorrow into that crucible.
Tomorrow trying to catch up to 13. Casanova caught zombie wall, but clears it out fairly quickly thanks to his swarm. Structures still even, and that is the best news for No Tomorrow. They haven't had this temple contested yet, though the rotations are coming, and the team does not see a lot of Team Freedom, so they should realize this. It's only Tyrael and Tychus here in the bottom for No Tomorrow. The collapse is going to come in.
There it is, the knock-up. Good cleanse there from Tiger JK. Odin stuck in his zombie wall. The root, the gust. Casanova with the burrow on the back line by himself. He pops adaptation. There's health bar number 2. A lot of things were thrown around. Not a lot of things happened, you know? It was flashy. I saw a dude go into a mech suit.
But Cocoon stopped it, so a mech suit went into a sleeping bag.
Yeah, a nice little sleeping bag.
No
like
Tomorrow wanting to steal away the Giants, yes.
It's like if Optimus Prime goes camping, or is that what you do? How do you get a mecha sleep? I don't know. Either
It's a
way,
magical sleeping bag.
we do see this game. This game is near dead even. Near,
It is.
not quite. Freedom with the advantage, not only in experience. They're behind. Freedom's behind in health of forts, but not by a lot. We're yet to see a full 5-on-5 fight. 1 kill throughout the entire 10 minutes, showing that passiveness you and I were referring to before.
Yeah, but Sky Temple has started to feel like that regardless of
For
this
NA,
series.
yes. Yeah, very much for NA. I agree with you there.
Zug Rug roots there, burrows out. Safe bug.
Dahaka's still getting the soak up on top. Zeratil's been just lurking, waiting for anybody to want to join that fall set up on top, anchoring. Illusion throwing out the frisbee, sees a scouting drone, he finds an Urho. But
He's gonna chase him. Dahaka's here too, trying to move into position for a drag. Zombie Wall does not catch these two tanks. He's moving in, he's stepping out. Cocoon has to be used to make sure that Zugrod can get away. Gargantuan thrown down too.
No Tomorrow survives. Even maybe got a pick for a moment there, caused two heroics to be used. And now they need to find a way to capitalize because 16 is still gonna be closed in here very soon for Freedom.
Yeah, Falstad has had the luxury of soaking in the top lane, and No Tomorrow, 5-man committed to that gank. Potentially showing again some of the panic that No Tomorrow undoubtedly is feeling in this game, down 2 games in the series. Airho getting caught, does not use Sanctification this time, but again, catching Tyrael just as temples are about to activate.
And you can see the pressure from both sides, even that Gus there. Nasmus didn't necessarily know where anybody was, and he didn't really care. He was like, if we get 1 kill and I have to burn Gus, totally worth it. Just a little bit of experience. I am not worried about it. Even if everybody back there was 1 HP, I don't care. I'm not dealing with whatever's back there. Playing safe, taking what they know they can get. Freedom, what we do know is they've got the 16. They're even in globals, so what is No Tomorrow gonna do now that Tyrael is back? Because they can't really take this fight down 16. Jason getting caught out, forcing the cleanse. He's going to survive, but it's a lot of HP gone.
And No Tomorrow is not sending Dahaka down to the bottom temple to try to get that. They are all grouping around the mid area, the watchtower. Dahaka's clearing top. They need 16.
They need it, and nobody's soaking the side lanes for it. Dahaka's doing his best up on top. They're just gonna trade for now. It's just waiting for No Tomorrow to get 16. Can they get the experience out far enough, or can Freedom zone them away from the experience well enough? Because there is still going to be
for boss.
No way. Collusion. He can root that. No dismount. Shots on bottom, still 100%. 16 still not here. That wave won't get it either.
No, in the top fort was once again saved by Falstad in the top lane, going in as the...
Now they get it.
Oh, this is going to be a collapse. Trees right here on top, trying to go back in time. Void Prism has been used, but the zombie wall was insane. Sanctification!
Gets it all! The Gust is going to be used. Divine Storm is laid, and Zugrod burrows away, barely surviving. Casanova lands the drag onto Dansky. Hammer of Justice, but long range. There's the Thunderstroke getting the kill here.
Thunderstroke, as it were. Casanova would love to drag someone else in. 1 kill has been had. Void Prison, Gargantuan, everything used from Team Freedom. Gust, even No Tomorrow, trying to use this little advantage that they have amassed to take the boss down.
They do have Odin, they have Twilight Dream. No heroics available here for Team Freedom. Down a member. No Tomorrow with their Crucible life on the line, starting the boss, and nobody of Freedom wants anything to do with it here. The shots are going to be captured. No Tomorrow has turned around this game. They're down in experience still, but now with this boss, with these shots on bottom, comfortably will be able to say they have a lead, not in experience, but the structure health. They can trade the shots, and they may be able to manipulate the map well enough here, and considering it's Sky.
We may look back at this game when all is said and done and see that fight right there, that 1 pick and getting the boss as the turning point for No Tomorrow in this game. They needed that momentum, Dread, at this late game.
They absolutely do. There's going to be the Gust by a little room.
Ooh, okay.
The Garg is going to drop and is removed.
Boss is gone.
And nothing to be gained here. Shots still remain on bottom. No Tomorrow had the option to siege with that boss in full commit or take the shots early on. What they're doing here is min-maxing, but I feel like it's greedy and it's going to bite them in the butt now. They shouldn't be risking this fight on bottom. Because normally when the boss is pushing, they could have captured the shots, but they're trying to maximize the value of these shots so it keep dies 100%. And now they have to win an even footing fight. And I don't know if they're going to be able to. Odin, use.
They're just trying to damage and zone away Team Freedom while they get the rest of these shots. Casanova had a great drag, but not quite in position where anybody else to use that and try to take somebody down. Cass is going to go back in again for Nasmus. He gets taken out with Divine Storm.
They get him with the punishment of the CC. Holy Ground and the Sanctification is going to allow Tiger JK to survive for a moment. Odin down, Jason stunned out. There goes the Ball of Lightning, Twilight Dream as well. Fireworks everywhere, but Freedom securing the rest of these shots. 30 seconds of having a man advantage.
And No Tomorrow still are down in experience, a level with that pick for Team Freedom. It's Casanova who died, so Dahaka could come back up and be back in the fight. But Team Freedom are going to try to use these giants that they did get and do the same thing we saw No Tomorrow do, is siege down in the bottom.
Here they go. The gate down. 10 seconds before Dahaka is anywhere to join. No heroic in sight for 40 seconds either. But Freedom is not going to risk it. They have way too big of an advantage. They are so very close to the 20, and that with that gap in experience here, with No Tomorrow just picking up the 18, if the altar spawn or the shrine spawn soon enough, they are very much going to have everything going for them. Multiple keeps, possibly even game. No Tomorrow had that window, but it is quickly gone, and Freedom has opened up a different one.
Yeah, the same situation that No Tomorrow was in at 16 is going to be, again, a problem for them. They have to soak as much as they can. They cannot get caught in this crucial time.
No lane has free experience for Freedom. You can't force No Tomorrow. You see even Tiger JK. Can I get this soak? Probably not. Nobody wants to mess up. 8 seconds on those Giants.
Temples in 30. 20 here for Team Freedom.
Not for No Tomorrow. Dahaka. Looks like he's going to soak. He's still got a bit of time. But what happens? What does No Tomorrow do? The fight that could send them to the Crucible. They're down an entire level. They're behind. I guess they're ahead when it comes to structure HP, but they've got to figure something out here. Otherwise, Freedom will be able to take this game.
Vile Infection stacks done. Epic Mount. Redemption, the choice for Uther over having Divine Storm, Divine Hurricane. Dahaka's pushing bottom lane. No Tomorrow's getting there. It's only this one temple.
They're getting there, but are they getting there fast enough is the real question.
They will lose the keep unless they can get anybody off of this temple right now, and that is...
But they're not going to. 20 so far. Gilly, we aren't even 50% of the way through 19.
I know.
What is No Tomorrow going to do here? Like, it's just the shots are giving up. They've lost the keep 100%. And they aren't getting the soak anywhere else. It's just going to be them grouping up, not trying to die, trying not to get picked off.
They're probably going to get 20.
It's the boss.
And then boss. They're going to risk it all.
21 seconds.
Over the boss fight. And they know that it's there in 20. So they are going out, stepping out in the lanes to get 20 so they have it for that fight, or Team Freedom will have trapped them.
Freedom already starting to keep pressure here on bottom. The boss is going to spawn after they get the double Giants. What do they want to do? Looks like it's not going to be forcing the boss yet without 20. The Hawk is still shown on top, so Freedom is not going to be the team that takes that risk. They are not willing to put it all down to a boss fight with that holding around, with that sanctification.
Freedom doesn't have to. They have 4 Giants to siege another keep. Top keep is low in health for No Tomorrow. Freedom are doing everything they can to put this game in an unwinnable situation, to checkmate No Tomorrow in this series.
Giants are getting cleared up. Good disc coming out from Uther, healing them up, but all 4 now are going to be ridden of. No Tomorrow, they've got their 20. Next fight is going to be their fight. Insomnia patiently waiting, goes on Jason. Not going to be able to kill him. More of a just keeping him in check. Boss check number 1. Was that a bolt? Am I crazy?
I didn't see. I was watching Team Freedom in the temples where they were spawning.
It's going to start.
All right, here it goes. No Tomorrow banking everything on this boss fight. Insomnia spotted. Around the side, No Tomorrow unleash.
He's trying to stall up there. He comes back for another flank. Urho reveals him.
No Tomorrow step back again.
Shrines are up.
Continuing to keep the pressure on. Casanova has to use his essence, so that's 1 health bar. Odin.
Insomnia not going to re-stealth. He's looking for that flank once more. We still have Holy Ground.
Void
Casanova.
Prison. Tyrion's caught in the Void Prison. If he can't get out of here in time, he won't have Holy Ground for this Twilight Dream used. Gosh,
got
does
it!
well. He gets on the point.
Kenny sakes, but there's going to be the cocoon use. 2 members of No Tomorrow are already dead. Jason gets stunned. The Divine Storm is going to seal the deal. And with 4 members now dead, Team Freedom has this game.
Team Freedom, in taking out No Tomorrow, ensures that they will not go to the Crucible and they will get to fight for a chance to represent North America at the mid-season brawl through the playoffs. No Tomorrow is going to the Crucible.
It will be a long climb through the playoff ladder here for Team Freedom, and a sad descent downward to the Crucible for No Tomorrow. But it's one I think that No Tomorrow can survive. I really do. With the small amount of changes they've made recently, as long as they want to make it last, I think they very much can. They can make it through the Crucible, but my goodness, dude, was that a close series? Such good play. It was just awesome.
It was awesome to get down to that final boss, as I feel like that has been the story of North America in part
Sky.
2 is Sky Temple.
Yeah.
Always the last game, the boss fight.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that Sky Temple is innately kind of trends towards this weird middle ground where the team who's behind structurally should force the boss because they aren't going to get a realistic fight later on because you can trade shots and you'll lose the game eventually. So that's why it does seem like we come down to that because one team goes, well, we're never really going to get a real fight onto an altar and we lose all the shots and that's going to be game. So let's just start the boss and make them answer to us. Tyrael did not have the tools there, and I thought for a minute that between Void, between what we saw out of the Gust, that maybe it would be able to isolate him, but they held their own, and Freedom pulls ahead.
Yeah, Freedom you could tell the communication was going with those abilities. To still have Cocoon, I just have to commend them for in that pivotal of a moment, knowing that this is how it's going to end. It's going to go down to the boss. No Tomorrow going to force us there. They're going to keep up. They had the Odin down. As soon as you see the Odin drop too, you know they're fully committed to that. Hanging strong. We're Team Freedom, taking out No Tomorrow 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, man, we're going to be able to have Freedom. You know, it's going to be exciting to see what they decide to do here from this point on when it comes to their team, because even the series today showed a lot of very different change, more on the positive side of them, not sticking to the, the rigid, stubborn drafts that we saw early in part number 1, and that makes me really hopeful because this series that they were successful in it, they're going to the playoffs, they now don't have that pressure. And then what do we see to them? Where does that development come in? Because sometimes, like we talked about, pressure doesn't make a team better. It can only make them worse. So I hope this only makes a positive change here for Freedom and No Tomorrow, honestly.
Well, let's talk to Team Freedom about the pressure for this series because I am sure it had to be intense. Hey, Nasmus, congratulations. I have to ask, yesterday you guys lost your series and that put so much on the line for this series. How was the team feeling after the loss yesterday and coming into today?
First, big thanks for the congrats. Yeah, we had a rough day yesterday. Teammate played really good. We had, we weren't scared, but we kind of were nervous. At first, Dansky was MIA and everything, so we were just stacking up, like the nerves were going pretty hard. So yeah, but in the end, we came out strong after that first win. We were all ready to win.
And then the comms for the boss fight on Sky Temple, what were they like? Were they crazed? Were they very serious and stable and calm?
As soon as we got the boss, everything went like crazy. We're like, yeah! But at first, I was being called around because I had the Gust, so I had the tool to push them away. But I wanted to make sure they go like all in for the boss. But yeah, as soon as that boss got capped, the comms went like we were super hyped.
Well, that's exciting to hear. You guys now get to play for the playoffs too. Dred, do you have any questions?
Yeah, it just mainly comes down to the fact that now we know that you're going to be moving into the playoffs, the fact that you're out of Crucible range. I just wanted to know from your perspective, how do you feel like that's going to affect the team? Obviously, right now, it's all cheers and everybody's ecstatic. You aren't worried about losing the job, aren't worried about the pressure anymore. But do you feel like this is something that without that pressure, it might... do you need the pressure to feel like you guys can improve, or do you feel like you can find it within yourselves and maybe even stand a really big chance here at the playoffs?
Yeah, I actually think it's more of like a wake-up call to step up another level for us. It's not we're in here, pressure is not going to push us to go further. It's actually, okay, now that we're here, we've made our more move. We got to make it to the next level. We want to go to the LAN. We want to go to Sweden.
That's awesome to hear.
Well, Nasmus, the last match you guys have for part 2 is versus Scaleforce Esports. You were able to get an upset there last time. Will you be able to do it again this time?
Yeah, GFE, we know all their strat there. There's nothing they can do against us.
All right. Well, good
No,
luck.
seriously, good luck, GFE. Thanks.
Yep. Best of luck for you next weekend. Congratulations again. We know you want to go celebrate with your teammates. Before you do that, we'll let you give some shout-outs.
Yeah, well, big shout outs to Team Freedom for sure, for all the fans that stuck around. We're gonna make it through playoff. We're gonna go to that LAN, and shout out to our coach Indy and Goofy, and go Esport US Team Freedom.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Oh, I know those guys would be celebrating.
Oh yeah, I honestly like. I know Insomnia might still be sick because he was sick earlier in the week, but I was just like, you know, if I could see what that guy's, the minute that boss is captured, I just want to know what did Insomnia's webcam capture at that moment, because I can only imagine it would be pure ecstasy.
Yeah, right-clicking